Okay, I got 26.
I did as well.
Right out of the back of the rock.
So we'll
It doesn't have
go with 26.
We're gonna have to straighten that out. Huh?
You know,
This is just like the El Chapo stuff.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I begin on this presentation, everybody's always curious about where they are. So let me start off by showing you just that. We, of course, started the tour in the visitor center up above, and on the diagram up here, the visitor center is located right there at the top of the canyon. We came down about 500 feet on the elevator. We got off the elevator right there on that orange line. We walked up the tunnel, and that's where we're now standing. We're in one of these 4 large diversion tunnels, these things are called, and we're standing over this large pipe you were just looking at through the window. Now that large pipe out there is full of water, Lake Mead water, which is out in that direction, and that water is traveling beneath your shoes right now through that pipe on its way to the big generators right now as a source of power to turn those heavy turbines to make electricity. That pipe, by the way, has a name. It's called a penstock pipe. Now, this canyon right here where Hoover Dam is located today, this also has a name. This is Black Canyon, where they finally decided to build the dam, but it wasn't the first choice. First choice to build this dam was 20 miles upriver at a location called Boulder Canyon. Well, for a lot of reasons that was not suitable, so they brought the project here. One of the reasons for the move here was the height of the canyon walls. As it turns out, they could build a really tall dam in this canyon. In fact, it was the tallest dam in the world when it was completed in 1935, 726 feet tall. Another reason why they chose this canyon over that one was the hardness of the rock here. So what's surrounding you right now is an igneous volcanic rock called andesite. It's harder than granite, and they needed that for a reason, because the dam's actually wedged in the canyon. It's being pushed into those canyon walls by Lake Mead behind us. So these canyon walls kind of support the dam. So once they had this site fully determined that they were going to build the dam here, they realized they had another issue to deal with before they could start on the dam, and that was, what were they going to do with the Colorado River that flows right through Black Canyon here? We kind of get in the way of things, right? So what they decided to do was to get it out of the way first by diverting it through 4 diversion tunnels in the canyon walls. You happen to be standing right in the middle of one of those original tunnels. Now these 4 tunnels actually took 40% of the construction time. These things took 2 years of that final 5-year building period. Why so long? Well, think about it. Each tunnel is 3/4 of a mile long through some of the hardest rock on Earth, 56 feet in diameter, and because we have earthquakes in this area, they took the time to line each one of those tunnels with 3 feet of concrete. You can see that original lining, by the way, right up above your head. So, at this point in the project, they decided to go ahead and take all this dirt, rock, and rubble they just extracted from the tunnels and make some use of this stuff. What they used this material for is they made 2 temporary dams out of it called coffer dams. Now the coffer dams were placed half a mile apart in the construction zone, and the idea of the coffer dams was to isolate that construction zone so that they could build the dam between them. But they also served another purpose. That would allow the Colorado River to back up behind the upper coffer dam. When it rose up behind the coffer dam, then they could force the water to go through the 4 tunnels exiting downriver here. And once they had the river out of the way, well then and only then could they start building the dam. That began on June the 6th, 1933 at 11:20 that morning. That's when the first bucket arrived, containing 16 tons of concrete. 78 seconds after that, bucket number 2 got there, and you know that same pace continued for almost the next 2 years. Those buckets were 78 seconds apart, 24 hours a day this was going on for almost 2 years. Amazing. Now, once the dam was finished, then they needed to stop the water that had previously been diverted through these 4 tunnels. Didn't need to do that anymore, so here's how they stopped the water. Down here at the river level, they lowered down 3 million pound steel gates. That allowed them to hold some of the water back to begin the process of filling up Lake Mead. It took 6.5 years to completely fill Lake Mead. When it's full, it's the largest man-made lake in the U.S. that holds over 9 trillion gallons of water. And it was full in the year 1941, but even though it was full, they kept adding water for a reason. They were testing something. By overflowing the lake, they were finding out if the spillways were going to work. Now, the spillways act sort of like an emergency drain. If the lake on its own ever gets too full, we never want that excess water to go over the top of the dam. What we wanted to do is go up the sides of the spillways, and then just like a drain, that water comes out down here without hurting anything. One final thing here, folks. Today, we have a huge lake full of water on this side of the dam. To take advantage of that water, they built power plants on the other side of the dam and put these commercial-grade generators in them. So now to get the water to the generators to start making electricity, they built 4 towers for that job called intake towers. So at the bottom of each, there are 2 openings. Water from the lake will fall in there, flow downward through our penstock pipes, which are now in the original diversion tunnels. So in other words, these tunnels did 2 jobs. They diverted the river, and then once that was accomplished, now they're bringing the water from the lake to the generators through that pipe. Double duty. The tunnels are doing 2 jobs. Pretty smart of them, right? So now that water is being fed to the generators from both sides. Once the water has done its job, it re-enters the river, and now the Colorado River continues on down south. It eventually empties into the Gulf of California, which is in Mexico. It's about 700 miles from here. Now, folks, let me show you where you're going next. We're going to take an elevator ride up to the power plant on the Nevada side of the dam. So you're going to be standing here in a couple of minutes overlooking the 8 generators in the Nevada power plant. So follow me back to the elevator. We're going to make a short ride for that.
I did 2 years because then only I had time.
Where are we going?
Just
26. It's 26.
Yes. I just wish my battery will last.
I guess we don't have to take a walk tonight.
Just find a spot along the railing here, folks, wherever you can see. Anywhere along the railing is fine. Anywhere along the railing, there's some more room down here if you're just coming in. Lots of room down here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nevada Power Plant. This is one of 2 power plants that we have here at Hoover Dam. Here in the Nevada Power Plant, we have 8 large generators. Across the Colorado River on the Arizona side of the dam, there are 9 generators in that power plant, 1 more than here, for a grand total of 17. Now, obviously, in front of you are the generators. The light at the top indicates which one's operating right now, so it looks like this afternoon only 5 of the 8 are operational. To accommodate those 8 generators, this building you're in is longer than 2 football fields. That's 650 feet all the way to the end, and it's 8 stories tall. That generator that you're looking at is actually 7 stories tall, but most of it's below the floor. So how do we get electricity out of these things? Well, if you look at the first generator in line, N1, you can see right there in the center of the generator generator, a light shining on a spinning shaft. See it there in the middle? Well, what's making it spin is a water wheel at the bottom. So what happens is the water travels through that pipe you were just standing over a few minutes ago. It hits that water wheel at the bottom of that shaft going 48 miles an hour. That spins the shaft 180 revolutions a minute, or 3 times a second. And that shaft now is spinning the rotor at the top of the generator. Now the rotor is located in that large red part of the generator, but if you want kind of a better view of a rotor, look directly down. This large black object down here is a rotor. Now that rotor has been broken down and it's been removed from the 3rd generator in line. They moved it up here for maintenance. So what is a rotor? Well, a rotor is made up of magnets. There are 40 electromagnets circling each armature of that rotor. And that rotor, and those magnets, by the way, weigh 4 tons each. They're made out of iron. So this rotor is in that red housing over there, spinning at 180 revolutions a minute past copper windings called stakers. And that excites the electrons, and very simply, that is what creates our electricity. 130 megawatts of electricity per generator, allowing each generator to be able to light up approximately 65,000 homes. Now, obviously, things are pretty big around here. For example, how do we move this large rotor from the 3rd generator down there up here to work on it? Well, the answer is right in front of us. Notice the flag. Straight on that green apparatus. What you're looking at there is a mobile bridge crane. A P&H bridge crane. That crane was built in the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And in fact, Hoover Dam is considered to be an all-American dam in the best sense of those words. Why? Because amazingly, every state, all 48 of them at that time, added something to the building of Hoover Dam. So in this case, Wisconsin gave us the bridge crane. It's mobile. It travels up and down the length of this room. If you can read that yellow sign there on the right, it tells us that that thing has the lift capacity of 300 tons. Now that sounds like a lot, but this rotor beneath us here weighs 580 tons. So how did they move it? Well, the answer is at the end of the room. If you notice just beyond the flag at the end of the room, there is a second bridge crane down there. It's sister crane, if you will. They've got to work together as a single crane to get the job done because everything is so massive around here. Redirecting your attention once again back down below, just on the other side of this rotor that they're working on, is a large brown object lying on the side inside the railing over there. Well, that, folks, is another kind of generator that we use here at Hoover Dam. That one has a name. It's called a Pelton water wheel generator, and it has a special job here at Hoover Dam. It's producing all of our in-house electricity. So, for example, when we get back on the elevator very shortly, the elevator is being powered not by the big generator over here, but by the Pelton. That Pelton is putting out 2.4 megawatts of power, and that's just enough power to operate everything internally here at Hoover Dam. But in case you're wondering, we do have a backup. It's sitting over there in the Arizona Power Wing just in case. One final thing here, folks. You know, we knew you'd be here today to take this tour. Why? Because we've been doing tours here at Hoover Dam since 1937. And believe it or not, they took basically the same tour back in 1937 that you just took with me. There have been very few changes. Well, one minor change. They only paid 25 cents for that tour. So there's not too much we can do about the price, folks. Inflation, don't you know? So, this kind of wraps up the power plant tour. I'm going to lead you back through that door. But give me a moment to drop off this light, and then I'll be the first one through that door, okay? Thank you. Tour. When these doors open again, you're on the exhibit level. Now, check out the exhibits. They're very interesting and informative. I can't tell you all about the dam in 2 short talks. Too much information, too much history here. So see the exhibits might answer some of your questions.
was in the right place at the right time and got hired to work in the 6 months. It's hard to say yes to some and no to others.
We can go there if he's still there. I'll call when we get to the car. And there's coil of wire around. When you turn it, the magnet, that magnet, they are changing, and the faster it turns, the more electricity it produces. This explains it. Electricity is simply a stream of electrons.
Automatic na format na pinag-ibig.
And then show the whole top.
Thank you. Have a good night. Hello, sir. With them? Yes. Hello.
You won't leave me? Who are you? Where's your ID?
On 33.
Oh my gosh, you just definitely forgot everything.
Yeah, well, we've been playing. We've been on so many elevators. We've been to the Fremont. We've been too many places. So how can you keep up with those numbers?
He thought you're playing.
And then he's playing the slot machine. It's too much to remember.
33.
Thank you. Going on.
It's like 5 now.
Yeah.
It's a nice hotel, yeah?
This is very nice.
Yeah.
The Hyatt Regency where I work is a 5-star too, but it's not like this.
And the thing about this is it's unique. All of the hotels have a casino. This one
Yeah,
doesn't
this
have.
one.
That's what I said. Yeah.
I don't know what's the reason behind that. Maybe they
You
can
want to
afford to
keep it
get.
sacred.
Yeah.
Look at the restaurant.
Wow, thank
He
you.
was still
Look at the
conservative.
restaurant.
Oh
So
my
nice.
goodness.
Look at the restaurant. May jacuzzi pa. At kakaiba pa ang ano niya. Oh. Ang shower. At saka, ito bawat ano niya. Video.
Siyempre, Auntie.
You know.